UFC 318 takes place Saturday night, and I am here to bring you the official predictions for this card, and the full card, as a matter of fact. So, on every Tuesday, I release the Money Manziel MMA criteria prediction videos where I use, basic terminology like autism, aura, like these types of things to pick the main card winners. Not very accurate, although they have been recently. But on this edition, every Thursday, I bring you guys my real, actual opinions on who I think skill for skill is going to win fights. Now, more likely than not, these are wrong. Like, for some reason, if you pick the better fighter, they lose most of the time. I don't know why that is, but either way, you got to roll with it. So, Money Manziel MMA production. Let's start it off with the opening fight of UFC 318. Carly Judice and Nikolai Kaler. I don't know how to say her name. I've never watched either of these two people fight in my life. I'm not gonna pretend that I have. When I was looking up the photo of Cagliari, she's kind of bad. Like I don't know if anyone else is with me on that, but she got a little bit of a manly look to her, which I'm not down with, and the eyebrows are kind of big, but she's kind of bad. So I'm rocking with that. But I'm gonna pick Carly Judice because while both of them have finished every win in their career, which is pretty crazy for female fighters, the four KOs in four fights means a little more to me. She showed skill in the Dubin fight. I just watched the highlight of the KO. I know nothing about her as a fighter. But I think the books know what they're doing when they price these girls as such big favorites. They tend to come through. So I'm going to say that Judice is going to win kind of a scrap, maybe, and it'll actually probably be the first decision for both of them, would be my guess. So I'm going to go Carly Judice. I'll be honest with you, I'm genuinely not going to watch this fight. So if I act like I watched that fight in the recap video Sunday morning, then you can make fun of me in the comments. Next up, Jackson McVeigh and Bruno Fajea. Jackson McVeigh, another 100% finishing rate. Bruno Fajea, 100% finishing rate. Literally, actually, it's been a finish in every fight he's ever been in. Now, I will say this. I am going to be picking Bruno Fajea. I also have the weight wrong. Sorry about that. I don't know why I have 265, but either way, I'm picking Bruno Fajea, and I'm really skeptical about this because Armand Petrosian was kind of doing some work to him early in the fight. I felt like it was a very close fight for as long as it lasted, about a round and a half. Dustin Stoltzfus had moments versus Bruno Fajea. I'm trying to remember who beat Bruno Fajea. I have no memory of who beat Bruno Fajea, but someone beat him. He KO'd Gregory Rodriguez. So we obviously know he has legitimate power and that he is going to be a threat to anybody. I do think that McVeigh does not have the experience here. I think if McVeigh was 12-0 with 6-6 for wins by submission and KO, then it would be much different. But 6-0 is too little versus Bruno Fajea. I think this guy's seen the top level already, and he's going to put in work on Jackson McVeigh. I think it's too much too soon. I know they're trying to get him booked back fast after his fight at 317 fell out like 3 different times, but I think Bruno Fajea is going to get it done. So we'll pick him. Next up, Ryan Spann versus Lucas Bresky. Good lord. Why does Ryan Spann have that tattoo? Why does he have Superman on his chest? That's the first question. Second of all, this is the worst fight of all time. 9-6-1 as a record for an a professional MMA fighter who is in the UFC, the highest tier of combat sports. We have a guy who is 9-6-1 at heavyweight. Jeez, and his one win in the UFC is not a win. I thought Walter Walker beat him. It was a terrible fight from both guys. It showed what Walter is capable of when he doesn't get the early heel hook. But Lucas Bresky, in my opinion, is really 8-7-1, and he's in the UFC. Ryan Spann sucks. I think we all can admit that Ryan Spann sucks, but there's no way that Ryan Spann loses to Lucas Bresky. Even if he shows up 280 pounds, I think he should win. I think he's going to KO him. I don't know when. I'm done betting on Ryan Spann, so I'm definitely not doing that this week. As a man that may or may not have picked him to be Waldo Cortez Acosta, I feel a little bit of shame. But I do think that Ryan Spann KOs him early. It's not worth it to put any money on this fight because it's just a crapshoot. I don't even know what to say about this fight, man. There's so many fights on this fucking card where, like, I don't know. Like we're in the middle of a stretch here that we're starting right now, where it's like I really do not know who's gonna win, and I don't want to pick a winner because you're just gonna be wrong either way with a lot of them. Like this next one, Jimmy Crute and Marcin Prachnio. Jimmy Crute in 2025 is a minus 320 favorite. Do you want me to tell you Jimmy Crute's last five fights? Draw, loss, draw, loss, loss. That's Jimmy Crute's last five fights, and he's a minus 320 favorite. How am I supposed to pick that? He's 12-4-2. The kid fights once every 2 years. Marcin Prachnio's 37 years old. He's probably more skilled, but it doesn't matter. He's 37, and he kind of sucks anyways. So I'm going to pick Jimmy Crute. Why am I picking Jimmy Crute? Why is the UFC putting me in a position to pick Jimmy Crute to win a fight? I'm like emoting in the car right now because I'm so mad about this. I do not ever want to see Jimmy Crute's face again. You're telling me that we are having a pay-per-view in 2025 and Jimmy Crute is a minus 300 favorite. Are you kidding me? Genuinely, what does Jimmy Crute do? Jimmy Crute shows up once every year and a half, loses or gets a random draw with somebody, and then disappears back to Australia. I have no clue what Jimmy Crute is good at. I have no clue what he's bad at. I don't care because he sucks. But I'm going to pick him because I don't know what else to do. I'm being put in this position by the UFC to make me look like I know nothing about fighting. Why am I having to pick Jimmy Crute? I have no clue. He should take down Marcin Prachnio and submit him. That would be my guess, but God, Lord help me. Next fight. Finally, one where, we know the winner here. Islam Dulatov versus Adam Fugit. I'm going to pick Islam Dulatov. There's not a lot to talk about here. Islam Dulatov is mogging every single one of us. I was supposed to watch UFC 318 with my girl this weekend, but that is not fucking happening. No chance am I watching UFC 318 around Islam Dulatov. Hell, I might fold. But Adam Fugit kind of sucks. Like, he has a couple wins, but Josh Quinlan's split decision doesn't move me at all. He's in fought in over a year. Dulatov's finished 11 of 11. I think this guy's real legit. So I'm gonna pick Islam Dulatov to win, probably second round KO. Next up, Atiba Gauthier and Robert Valentin. Thank God Joe Rogan is not on commentary because the glazing that this man would have done for Atiba Gauthier, good lord. Yeah, he's 6-0 in his, or I believe he lost one. Maybe it was his second fight or his first fight. I don't know which one he lost. Is what it is. But he's got 6 KOs in his career and 7 wins. Robert Valentin has 2 KO losses. He's been finished 3 of 5 times. He's coming off that fight with Torres Finney where, like he just kind of let himself get held against the cage the entire fight, and then when he finally got a moment of separation with a guy who was gassed in front of him, he threw a jumping elbow and landed himself back in the clinch. So for that reason, I'm going to pick Atiba Gauthier. There is very easily a world where Robert Valentin could win this fight. I wouldn't be shocked if it happens, but I am not picking somebody with the level or lack, rather, of IQ that Robert Valentin has. I refuse to pick that man. So, with that being said, I think Gauthier decapitates him. I think he's going to land a nasty uppercut or big overhand right and just floor the kid. So, you know, that's kind of where I'm at on this fight, and I'll be picking Atiba Gauthier to win. Next up, Francisco Prado versus Nikolai Varetnikov. Um, this is tricky, man, because I have never watched a full Francisco Prado fight. I watched a lot of his Jake Matthews fight. I watched some of the Zell Huber fight. No, I watched the Zell Huber fight. I'm going to take that back. But Varetnikov lost to Austin Vanderford. By the way, the luckiest man alive. He's married to like Paige Van Zandt, so good on you, champ. But losing to Austin Vanderford is shameful. Vanderford was kind of a bum in Bellator, and this guy's 35 years old. So purely on the basis that Prado is like young and actually can fight a little bit, I'm gonna say that his clear boxing edge is gonna win him the fight. I don't know if he's gonna KO him. He might. But I would guess that he wins a pretty clean 30-27 here. That would be my prediction for this fight exactly. I'm just done picking these old prospects to win fights. Ever since Ayman Zahabi won, I don't know anything about the sport anymore. So I'm going to go with Francisco Prado to win, probably by decision, maybe a late finish. Next up, Brendan Allen versus Marvin Vittori. This is a Marauders type of fight. Brendan Allen, he's coming off the losses to Hernandez and Imavov, and then he won the split decision versus Chris Curtis before that. Where really Chris Curtis might have won before he blew out his knee in like the final moments of the fight. But either way, Marvin Vittori coming off the losses to Cannonier and who else did he lose to? Delidze. He fought Delidze again and lost. Good lord. Um, this is such a tricky fight for me because this is just like Brendan Allen and Marvin Vittori is genuinely like two autistic children in a schoolyard fighting each other. Like this is like the type of this is the Brendan Allen versus Marvin Vittori is the type of fight where you're at recess and you hear people yelling, and there's two of like the dumbest kids in your class that are fighting. Like that is what's going on. You almost feel bad. You hope no one gets hurt. That's like the type of situation because these two are just so special in their own little ways, and I pray for the safety of both these men. So I am gonna take Marvin Vittori here. This is gonna be a little bit of a surprise. He's a pretty big underdog, or sizable at least at plus 175. I do think that Brendan Allen has a real weird track record with guys on the feet. Um, where when he actually has to stand with guys, he does struggle. All of his losses are to guys who are really good strikers. Hernandez is an exception, but honestly, Allen could have won that, but he kind of fluked his way into a loss. Like he fell off the top of Hernandez. He did some weird scrambles at different points. I think Vittori is going to put him in the clinch a lot. And I think that his kickboxing is going to do just enough. Like a very similar fight to Delidze. I think there's going to be a split decision or majority decision where there's like a moment where there's something big happens or, oh, big elbows. Maybe the fight gets stopped, Like one of those things. So I'm going to go Marvin Vittori by razor thin decision here. Next up, Kyler Phillips and Vinicius Oliveira. There's no secret who I'm going to pick here. This guy is in the Money Manziel MMA production like screen, like he's on the home screen. So I'm going to go Vinicius Oliveira. Kid's finished 18 of 22 in his career. I mean, what a dog this guy is. Um, he just fights super cool. He just walks you down with his hands low. He's looking to land that two or a dynamic kick or a knee. I just feel like Lock Dog's tough. And Kyler Phillips losing to Rob Font is a tough look, man. He won the first round, but he had nothing for Rob Font in rounds 2 and 3, which was shocking to see because I feel like everyone should have something for Rob Font. Um, and I was thinking to myself, I was like, oh, maybe Vinicius Oliveira hasn't faced a guy as dynamic as Kyler Phillips. He just beat Said Nurmagomedov, who I think is more dynamic. I think Said and Kyler Phillips would have a pretty amazing fight if they fought each other. I think that's who Kyler should have gotten next. But, I'm going lock dog here. I think Vinicius Oliveira wins, and Kyler Phillips has a baby face, so he's getting mogged. Next up, first fight of the main card, Michael Johnson and Daniel Zellhuber. Listen, they're saying a lot of things. They're saying, Michael Johnson's 39 years old. He's been KO'd a bunch of times now. He's been subbed 9 times in his career. He's plus 400 as an underdog. Daniel Zellhuber's 26. He's tough. He's durable. No way Michael Johnson wins. Zero chance. He's a lamb being sent to the slaughter here. Guess what? Michael Johnson is winning this fight. I don't know how to explain this to you. I don't have any logic backing this. But Unk has one more in him. I don't care what you have to say. Michael Johnson is beating Daniel Zellhuber on Saturday night. If Michael Johnson doesn't beat Daniel Zellhuber, every single one of us is going to DM Daniel Zellhuber on Instagram, and we are going to send him $5,000 on Cash App. That's what we're going to do. We are all signing that oath. We will all be doing this. Join on for the ride. Michael Johnson is winning this fight. I don't care what you have to say. Dustin Poirier and Justin Gaethje are going to be called out for no reason. They will never respond to him because he's unranked. But I think Michael Johnson wins, dude. I just did like a Dustin Poirier impression. Dude, Michael Johnson fucking winning, dude. Dude, come on, you're a scumbag if you don't pick Michael Johnson, dude. But I think that Michael Johnson's the type of guy that lives up to the moment. Like, if he fights a guy who's really bad, that's why he fights really bad. I don't know what it is, but I think that there's a world where he finishes Zellhuber. And I don't think people want to hear that, but I'm just throwing it out there. Don't be surprised. Don't be surprised if he finishes El Huber. Either way, Michael Johnson's winning. Dan Ige and Patricio Pitbull not spending a lot of time on this. I hate Pitbull, man. He's finished 8 of 36 in his career. Are we dead ass? Wait, that can't be. No, that can't be right. I'm sorry. Is that right? There's no way that that's correct. There's no way Pitbull's only finished 8 of 36. If that is correct, then that is shameful. But no way. There's no way that that's true. I'm having like a crazy moment here. Hold on. I'm gonna look this up. I actually literally am taking time out of this video to look up if Pitbull has actually only finished 8 out of 36 because that is insane if that is true. Pitbull. No, he's finished 24 out of 36. Okay, so I'm sorry about that. I don't know why I have him down for that. Sorry, Pitbull. But either way, he's not winning this fight. That's the main thing we're noticing here. Dan Ige is gonna win this fight. Pitbull's chinny at this point in his career. And the main thing I'm looking at is the activity. Like, Ige's going to put the pressure on you. He's going to land. He's going to want to win the fight more than you. And Pitbull landed 17 significant strikes against Yair in their fight. So, it gets to a point where I cannot pick you if that's what you're doing. I think Ige still wants to be a champ and a contender. I think Pitbull's just doing this all for legacy. I saw he was going to call out Aaron Pico afterwards. So, to me, that means he doesn't care about his career. Is what it is. Next up, featured fight of this pay-per-view, Kevin Holland and Daniel Rodriguez. How is this the featured fight of a pay-per-view? What the fuck? Either way, I said this in the Money Manziel video. I'm going to say it again. Kevin Holland's winning, man. Kevin Holland is better literally everywhere than Daniel Rodriguez. So, if Kevin Holland were to lose to Daniel Rodriguez, I would be pretty shocked, but I wouldn't be that shocked. It is a type of fight that Kevin Holland would lose, but I'm going to side with the kid here. I think he's going to win. Probably, I honestly could see a world where he submits Rodriguez, but I'm going to say knockout. I think second round he clips him bad. Rodriguez is chinny. Ponzinibbio hurt him in moments. And obviously Ian Gary finished Daniel Rodriguez, so I don't have a lot of faith in the kid. I think Holland wins. And I'm rooting for it too because I like Kevin Holland, so is what it is. I've said that a lot today. Co-main event, Roman Kopylov and Paulo Costa. Now, guys, I'm going to give you an insight into how to pick fights. Whichever fighter you are being gaslit about the most during the week, do not pick that guy. The only time this hasn't been true has been Derek Lewis. And Derek Lewis is his own thing. Derek Lewis is so unpredictable in fights where you can't even think about, like, oh, does the amount of gaslighting around how good they are matter? You just gotta kind of pick Derek Lewis or not pick Derek Lewis. That's the world we live in. Either way, I've been seeing so many Paulo Costa interviews and edits where I'm like, oh shit, this guy kind of looks locked in. Like, he might be ready to go this time. But no, man, I'm gonna pick Roman Kopylov. I just think that Paulo Costa, at this point in his career, is a 34-year-old man who is trying to impress Nina Drama in interviews. It's like what Conor McGregor's doing in DMs right now. Like, that's kind of how I compare it. Like, I don't think Paulo really cares that much. And it's sad because Paulo has the skill set to really contend. Like, crazy power, good grappling defense, good kicks. He has everything. His cardio is much better than he gets credit for also. But he just doesn't have that fire in him, I don't think. So, I'm going to say Roman Kopylov wins. I don't think he finishes Paulo. I'd be willing to bet this goes to decision, so good for Roman Kopylov. I have just dropped my phone on the ground. That's unfortunate. But I do think that Roman Kopylov is just a little better everywhere than Paulo Costa. So maybe Paulo tries to bring in the grappling a little bit, but I doubt it. I think they're going to stand and Kopylov's going to win. Main event of the evening. Dustin Poirier and Max Holloway. I picked Max Holloway in the Money Manziel MMA criteria, and I'm going to pick Max Holloway again. I just think that Dustin doesn't have it in him. I think that he looked slow versus Islam. He looked slow in moments for Saint-Denis as well. I just think he's got so many lingering issues injury-wise where I don't know how hard of a camp Dustin can really have at this point in his career. I feel like Max can still do it. Obviously, everyone's going to look to see how that chin is holding up. So that'll be interesting, but Other than that, I think that Max Holloway is just a little better. He's going to figure out his way around Poirier's high guard slash shell that he was using when they last fought. And he's just going to work to the body. I think it'll be kind of a tit for tat, point fight type of fight. Maybe there's a moment where Dustin Poirier cracks Max Holloway and you're like, oh, this might be it. Where he lands a big shot, but nothing ever really happens. I think it's going to be a 5 round fight. It'll be fun, but more skill than actual war would be my guess. And just hoping for a cool final 10 seconds of Dustin Poirier and Max Holloway. So that's it for the video today, ladies and gentlemen. I appreciate every single one of you for listening and tuning in. I'm getting a lot of love on the videos recently, so I appreciate that. Uh, and thank you so much for listening. It's obviously hard to motivate to talk about this pay per view because there's a lot of bad before you get to the good. There's some fun fights. I think they know what they're doing. There's a lot of guys with high finish rates, so they're trying to get finishes on this card to make up for it, which I understand to a certain point, but it's a little frustrating. But thank you guys for watching. Like, comment, and subscribe if you're new. I will see you guys in the next one. Probably not going to upload anything tomorrow unless it's like a betting type of thing, but I don't know if I'm doing that, so we'll see. TikTok is at Money Manziel MMA, and thank you so much for watching.